Let's kick the hornet's nest. This is Dungeons & Dragons, and it's a role-playing game.
This is Dungeons & Dragons. It is a role-playing game.
This is Advanced Squad Leader, and it is a war game.
And it's played on a hexagram board with little teeny tiny cardboard chits that represent units, army units of various nations determined by color. It uses 2d6s to determine random outcomes, and it can simulate almost any battle from World War II.
This is also Dungeons & Dragons, and it's also a role-playing game.
This is Dungeons & Dragons.
This is Warhammer, and it is a war game.
That uses miniatures, same types of dice, terrain features. You resolve tactical combat using miniatures that you paint yourself, sometimes terrain that you build yourself. This is a war game.
This fine tome is Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, and it too is a role-playing game.
This is
This is Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Greyhawk Adventures, and it is a war game.
Set in the Greyhawk world, developed for the Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game. This is a war game that uses cardboard chits to represent areas controlled, 2 10-sided die to generate some random numbers, and cards for various purposes in the game. This is a war game. All right, so this was all for a laugh, right? But look, it's still all kind of true, okay? D&D is a role-playing game. It was always intended to be a role-playing game. Did it come from war games? Absolutely. It was designed by people who played war games. They were making, Arnson and Gygax were making an entirely new type of game. And they used the knowledge they had from war games to create Dungeons & Dragons, which is why first editions were so crunchy and had lots of tables and lots of random things and dice rolls and whatever. But it was always intended to be a role-playing game. In all of those first edition books, it states over and over and over that you as a player are taking on the persona of your character. There were rules in the Dungeon Master Guide explaining how the Dungeon Master was supposed to figure out how much time you spent training in between levels based upon how well you played your character according to your alignment and your class. Those are not wargaming concepts. Those are role-playing concepts. So they've always been a very integral part of the game right from the beginning. Does the game have combat? Absolutely, it has combat. Do you have to act out that combat on the table with little miniature figures and everything? No. That has always been optional. Always been optional. Going all the way back to first edition, it's been optional. It has always supposed to have been theater of the mind. Even in 5th edition, there are sidebars in there. Optional rule, playing on a grid. It's optional. There are mechanics for figuring out combat. There are mechanics for role-playing. D&D is, always has been, and was always intended to be a role-playing game. So yes, I know I am kicking the hornet's nest with this one, because I know there is a camp of people that will scream bloody murder that D&D is a war game, that it is a combat simulation game. It's not. Not when compared to actual war games. It's a role-playing game, plain and simple. And I am going to die on this hill as somebody who has played a wide variety of games. So, Hornet's Nest kicked